Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Boy, that was a pretty quick transfer period, wasn't it? So we are into, looks like July 2023. And guess what? Because we won the Chinese FA Cup, we are now part of the UEFA Europa Conference League. We are in the second qualifying round, which means that today's match is against Voždovac in Serbia, which is pretty impressive, actually. I didn't have any idea that was going to happen, but that's what happens. As you may recall, if you have been watching these videos from the start, this custom database that I'm using allows China to be considered as part of Europe, which is the reason why this is happening. So even though we are not in the top tier of Chinese football, we're in the first division, which is the second tier, we are already in Europe. And we'll see what happens here today. Now, we've made a couple of changes. You'll see this right away. There are a couple of people who I'll introduce you to quickly. Jung Sangbing, you may know, plays for Wolves, was on loan with Grasshoppers. We went in and got him for $180 million, which is our new record transfer fee. And should be a very, very good striker there to play alongside Chung Bingbing today. The reason why Monta's not in here is probably because he's tired. We've also had some issues trying to get people registered, as you can see, for this competition, which is a completely different story for another video. I guess Monta is here in the on the attacking wing. Pedrinho is one of sort of the crop of younger players we picked up. We got him for 1.5 million RMB from Brazil, and I think we got a really, really good deal on that one. So we will see how he does today. We also have picked up Romeo Lavia, who we got from, let's see here. I think we got him from Manchester. No, we got him from Southampton. That's right. We paid 100 million RMB for him, which means that they didn't get much of a profit off of him. Lavia's introduction to the squad has made George Hall a little bit upset because Lavia is younger and is already a better player. The other major player that we have to show you here is Aaron Kashin, who we picked up. Where did he come from? From Derby, yeah. So we got him for only 15 million RMB, which is actually a pretty good deal. We have a pretty good club, I would say. This is a pretty strong squad, and it's just becoming stronger. And there are a couple of others that we've picked up as well as time has gone on. Including some that we had here before. Kelvin Abreva, for example, we had on the squad last year, but he couldn't play for our first team because he had already appeared for two different teams in the season. So here we go with new numbers. You can see we have a whole ton of new numbers to give people, so we just go ahead and give that off automatically. And we are off, and let's see how we do. This is a first for the club, definitely, and this is definitely a first for me playing in Europe so quickly. Voždovac I know absolutely nothing about. I don't know any of these players at all, so you can fill me in the comments. And we are pretty strong that we do have a squad that is definitely changed from last year. Kashin comes in and is our new captain as we sold Yejie. And Luciano Parra, who you probably remember, is currently out on loan. The reason why he's on loan is because of our big signing there up front, which was a deal that I kind of had to take a chance on because I didn't know if we were going to ever see another deal like that again. And it's interesting to see all that red there in the crowd here because it is a long way to go from China to Serbia. But we do have quite a few people who've decided to make the trip. And it's Park Myung-sung now here in the back over to Monta. Back to Park Myung-sung over to Lavia. To Park Myung-sung again. He goes back to Yen Kun. Yen Kun moves it forward slowly to Lee Jin-young. Lee Jin-young to Chung Bingbing. Chung Bingbing looks forward to Pedinho but can't find him. And Jubin is trying to win the ball back and unfortunately is unable to. And it ends up we end up losing possession. Here is Pedrinho now with the corner. I haven't done much for corners here, actually. I haven't really changed much. It goes back to Monta over to Pedrinho again, and he crosses inside to Jubin. Of all players in this squad to score the first goal of the season in Europe, I don't think anybody would think that the still 16-year-old Jubin would wind up scoring this. He scores from left back here. He's playing in left back, which is a somewhat unfamiliar position for him. And, man, I tell you, I mean, looking at all of the young Chinese players we have, I never would have thought that this guy would wind up being like the superstar wonder kid, but that's what's happened. And it's 1-0 Yanbian FC, and it's all because of Jubin and his excellent play. We get all of these big-name players, all of these players coming from English clubs and from other European clubs, and it ends up being Jubin, the Chinese guy, who was homegrown, who came from Yanbian, who ends up scoring the first goal. Kaixin goes back again to Li Changyi. Li Changyi is going to be our cup goaltender this season. We'll try to get equal time for both goaltenders. We'll see what happens. It goes back to Lavia now. Romeo pulls it up himself, and then he goes over to Park Myung-sung. Very, very good penetration by Lavia. Over to Lee Jin-young, who gets a shot from range that the goaltender inexplicably decides to punch out instead of grabbing. And so this is another corner for us, another chance to do something. We're only 15 minutes into this match. And it is up, looking for Yen Kun, can't quite find him. And Katik, the goalkeeper, is able to pull that one down. Here's Pedrinho now with the free kick, looking for Yen Kun, can't find him. It goes back to Monta, over to Jubin. Jubin moves forward, penetrates, and I think he's fouled, but there's no call. And we'll see if we can pull this one back off of them. This looks, of course, a lot different than the Chinese teams that we're used to playing against because they can actually, attack. Imagine that. And their shot on goal, the header just barely hits off the top of the woodwork, and we knock that one off into row Z for a throw-in. And now it is another throw for them, and we'll try to get the ball back off of them here. And it's Jung Sangbin who gets it off of his man, and then the pass looking back for him again, unfortunately, is a little bit too heavy. Monta is not very familiar there in that position in the left attacking wing, which is part of that problem. Yen Kun gets beaten by this one. He gets beaten pretty badly. Fortunately, Lee Changyi is there to make the save. And, this is good experience for Lee Changyi, isn't it? And apparently we're able to get the ball out of the zone at some point in time. And, I'm still amazed that we're ahead in this match. This is pretty impressive. It looks like we're having a little bit of a rough time, though. We're playing in a downpour, by the way, 15 degrees, and only a little bit over 4,000 people here at the match. Looking for Mwanta there with the high cross, and nothing is going forward. Kata goes up and grabs that one. And Kaixin this time is beaten, but Lee Changyi is there to play the lines and to grab the ball and to get rid of the nonsense. And we're having a problem here. You can see in the back, we're not having very good communication back there. Want over to Lavia, to Park Myung-sung, back to Lavia. Over to Lee Jin-young, over to Chung Bingbin. Now forward to Pedrinho, and he's got Jung Sangbin, who I think is onside, and he puts that one wide, unfortunately. I'm pretty sure he was onside there. Let's take a quick look here and see. Yeah, I think he beats it. I think he's onside, but that's just a poor finish from him. And we need a little bit better quality than that from the 21-year-old. But, we'll take whatever it is that we can get. And so far, we're having some sort of match. It's not as bad as it could have been. I think what we do here at halftime, I don't remember exactly what the rules are, but I think we can probably put Mwanta back up. And let's see what we can do here. So I think the idea that I have here is let's try to put Mwanta up in here for Chung Bingbin and see who do we have we can put on here. We'll see if we can put... This is the question. Do we want Gustafsson, who's new? Do we want Jakob Dikko Eng? We probably want Jakob Dikko Eng on there, who's still upset with me for not playing him as often as he thinks he should be played. We'll also see if we can bring on an actual left back like João Victor, and... it does allow me to do that, thankfully, and so now we'll move forward. One of the problems we've had here in the early season is playing too many friendlies, which usually happens to me. We had, I think, 3 friendlies in the last week, and so as a result, a number of these players are probably more tired than they should be, but I'm sure they can find it within themselves to get themselves up for this one. We definitely want to win this tie, because if we win this tie, then we can go over to... I think we go to the third qualifying round, I think, before we get to a group stage. I haven't really checked up on this, so we'll find out. We'll find out if we win. We need to get back on defense here, and Neskovic, and it's Yen Kun who takes it off of him and then loses the ball after sort of standing there, proud of what he's done. And Lee Jin-young finally gets a foot back onto that one to concede the corner. That was a little bit scary, and the corner is up, and it's in for a goal, and there's the equalizer, and you can see that coming. And that was pretty poor there by our defense, and I'm starting to get a little bit worried here. It's just a good job. It's a good job by Milovic getting onto that one. We had, I think, 4 or 5 guys sort of standing around looking at their feet. You can see with the fatigue levels just how tired some of these guys are. And we need to be playing a little bit better than this. And, it's raining, too, which is the other problem that we have. Lee Changyi is able to get back onto that one. Throws it over to Park Myung-sung. Park Myung-sung will move this one up over to Jubin on the left side. This is a much more comfortable position for Jubin. And he moves it back now to Joao Victor, who passes it forward again to Jubin. He's looking for the cross backwards, and there's nobody there. And I've got to wonder what happened to our defensive midfielders. They should be back there. Somebody should be back there to get that pass. And instead, everybody was a little bit too far forward. It was a good idea. It was a good thought. And if somebody had been there, we would have had an easy shot on goal. And as it stands, we might wind up conceding a winner here against the run of play. And there it is. And that's Stojsavjevic, who scores it for them. And this is a little bit concerning. This is, I think, the first time that we've actually been behind in a match since I've started this save. And once again, I mean, it's a defensive breakdown, and this is, who is this there? Park Myung-sung, who kind of spoils the offside trap for us. You can see, I mean, he goes back further. Yeah, he's a little bit too far back right here, and then he's right in no man's land instead of playing against the player, and we need to get a little bit more from these guys. This is not looking good. But interesting stuff for our first trip to Europe and for our first time doing this. Joao Victor grabs the ball that is not kicked out very well. I noticed that despite the fact that it's raining, we don't have any rain animation here at all, which is probably because I've got us on low animation quality. Yenquin over to Lee Jin-young, looking for Mwanta, and he just gives up on it. This is not what we wanted to see, boys. It's kicked backwards. Joao Victor goes back to get it over to Kashin, over to Victor again, now to Jubin. Jubin looks forward to Lavia, who kicks it forward to Jakob Dikoeng, and there's Jung Sangbing, who's got to score this time. I don't know how he missed that one. Boy, 180 million renminbi, and he can't score that shot? That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, and my transfer policies are going to look pretty bad right now. I mean, he needs to learn how to shoot. That was awful. That was horrible. All right, let's see what we can do here. Got to be something that we can do to get this one back on track. All right, let's see if that helps a little bit. Make a couple of quick changes. And yeah, I mean, these strikers are not having a good game at all. And Lee Changyi is able to get back onto that one and make the save. And now let's see what happens. Our changes are in. Here's Joao Victor with the free kick. Knocks it forward to Mwanta, who looks to sort of head that one over. And I mean, it's something, but that's not going to be good enough. Not good enough for trying to score at this level. And we are in trouble. We are in trouble, and you're going to see me berate quite a few players here at the end of this one because this was a really bad game. And fines are going to come because we need to play better than this. I don't care how far away the match is. This was just a bad, bad game by us. And welcome to Europe, I suppose. And looking for Jakob Dikoeng. He's just not there. And this is going to be an interesting season, I'll tell you that. We're in 3 different cups at once in addition to the league. And now that we've lost this match, the pressure is really on for us to get a result. And that is the end of it. Yanbian ended up losing 2-1 in a match that was pretty ridiculous. And, of course, in a match in which we dominated XG. So we're going to see a couple of fines for some of these key players. And by the time I see you next time, we'll have probably a couple of people who are really upset with me. So I will see you then. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye.